All right, we're back. I'm back anyway. I don't know who else is back with me, but if you're here, that's cool and I appreciate it. We're still going to continue down the path of fixing the smart car. I had to take about a week off from working. I was out of town for what I do to make money so I can work on the smart car for fun. But we're going to get right back into what we were doing, which basically was pulling off some of the brake lines on the bottom of the Didion tube, or on the top of the Didion tube. So back there we're going to pull those brake lines off, pull the spring out, pull the strut off, pull the axles out of both sides, and then we're going to drop the whole Didion tube. And like I said before, there's a bushing back there, and I figured I should replace it, because if I do all this work, then what's the point? If it's the Didion bushing, I'm gonna have to pull it all off and take care of it anyway. So, and like I capped last time, we're looking at a new brake job here. Brakes don't look too good, so we're gonna do drums on the car there. And then I got some packages too that came in. I got my parts here from the UK. I got some more Powerflex stuff. So the stuff that came from the UK is actually going to be for the track arms. So those are new bushings, and we'll see if we can get those bushings into the track arms. That'll be one of the things we do. So I'm going to open up those packages and I'll show you guys that, and then we'll get to pulling off the axle. I'm psyched because it looks like I got parts from the UK. These are going to be my bushings for the track arms. So the track arms I pounded the bushings out of back in the day, and I even went and bought new track arms that have the bushings because I wasn't sure that I was going to get these parts, but they came, so I'm super psyched because now I got the bushings, and they just got to be put together and then inserted. So just go ahead and stick these inside of that cuff, stick these inside of there, and then pound these into here, and we'll have new poly bushings for the track arms. The other thing I got is I got the main beam bushing from Powerflex. So that's going to be this guy here, and just pull this guy out. So this is just going to be the main beam bushing. This is going to go through here. These two pieces go together. That goes into the holder, and then it's secured to the subframe. So we've got everything that we need except for new brakes, and we got plenty to do before we need to do the brakes. So off we go. We need to take the fender liner off because it's going to make it a lot easier for me and for you guys to see what I'm doing. You can see on this side how you can see everything. That's not the case on the other side because I have a fender liner there, so we're going to take that off. That's going to be this whole piece right here and around here and down here. It's just some 10mm nuts that we got to take off, and I got another one up there, and they go around. There's a few of them and then a couple of plastic clips, so I'm just going to set the camera up and I'm going to pull that off really quick, and then we'll get to taking off the brake line. Alright, we just pulled the fender off, so there it is. And wait until you see the difference it makes when trying to access all the parts that I need to access. Like, ta-da! And then you can just see, I probably want to do something with this intake because, well, it's just not hanging on, is it? Okay, so we come down here and we're going to pop these brake lines loose and get them off of there. And then once we get that done, we're going to do the struts. Once we do the struts, we're going to figure out a way to pull that whole Didion tube off. So that's what we're up against. That's what we're going to be doing next. And I guess what's the point of doing these videos and bringing you guys along with this if I don't share with you exactly what I'm doing? So these are going to be 17mm nuts right here, and then on the back side of this over here we have, and I want to get a shot of that, those are going to be nuts. So I'm just going to go ahead and get those pulled off of there, and then we'll continue to go on about what we're doing. Alright, I thought I'd check back really quick because it seems like I have a good plan of action for how this is going to go down. So, I'm going to get that transmission jack and I'm going to stick it over here with a 2x4 on it, and I'm going to brace the bottom of these axles right here, or the Didion tube on both sides, and jack that up, let some tension off of it, take the tension off of this, and then we're gonna undo the bolt for the struts, and then we're going to back up in there. You'll see is where the bolt for the Didion bushing. I've got everything unbolted from the Didion tube, so basically we're just going to be able to pull that nut out, or that bolt out, these bolts out, and then we should be able to get at the axles and pull the axles off. And then drop the Didion tube. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can capture all of that work. So I'm lining up the shot and shining a light around, and I just found, let's go ahead and get a shot of this. This is just sitting in the bottom of the transmission that I have open over here. So let me show you where that came out of. That was actually in the bottom of this area right here. So as you can see, right up in there, and I found that little stud. I don't know if it was a guide pin or exactly what that is, but we'll see if I find anything like that and see if it needs to be replaced. But it's definitely broken, that's for sure. You can look at it and see right there at the very end of it that it's broken. So, and like I said, it looks like a guide pin. Oh, looky there. That actually says that it looks like it's a shaft for a drill possibly, or a tool, but it's stamped. So, alright, maybe mystery solved, maybe not, but at least an answer that it's not something out of the engine. Alright, cool. You never know, that's why I figured I'd just show you guys. Alright, here we are underneath the car, about ready to loosen the bolt for the Didion tube. I have a 21mm socket here, and then I have an E20 socket that's going to actually fit up on this. That one's going to go there. 20mm on the back side of the bolt back here. So we're just going to go ahead and see if we can break those loose. Interesting to see how easy this comes off of here.
Evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working.
Alright, so we're looking at the back of the car, and I'm going to go over to the strap and release it. That strap is holding the Didion tube under pressure, so it would have been easier for me to get the track arms back on. but since we're tearing it all apart, I need to get the axles out of it. So I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna release that, and we'll see how that goes. So let's see what happens. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Well, sometimes I get a little ahead of myself, and today was no exception. So you probably just saw as I was getting that Didion tube dropped, felt like it was still hanging, and it was. And all that talk I did about getting those brake lines off, their brake lines, I got the one side off and all disconnected, and you can see I got the Didion bushing out, so I'm excited about that. However, before I drop the rest of this, I got to take the rest of these brake lines off right here. So that's going to be exactly what I'm working on. You know, we learn as we go, and I'm completely tearing this thing apart to get this job done. So we'll get the rest of those off of there, and then we'll take it from there. So that was good progress today so far, and I feel like I still got some more in me. So but I want to show you the bushing that I'm trying to replace. So here is the Didion tube bushing. As you can see, the Didion tube came out. I'm going to clean up my perches so that we can have a nice place for the springs to sit, and so I can adjust them. But I don't know, this is what I'm looking at working on right here. And so let's grab the bolt that came out of that, and I'm just kind of interested to see if I can get any play out of it, how much play I'm getting out of that. Yeah, and I couldn't really tell you if that's a bad bushing or not, but I can tell you that I'm gonna be replacing that bushing. So, and if you're looking, and I'll bring the light over here, there's actually gaps in that bushing. Huh. Let's take a look at how it moves from over here. I'd be interested to see. You know, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't have enough experience with these to actually know if that's too much play or what that indicates, or if it indicates anything. So we will be replacing that bushing, although I'm kind of looking at it going, how is that bushing gonna fit into that hole? And oh, well, it looks like only this part of the bushing fits into the cradle. The outside of it, we might want to get underneath the car real quick and see what that looks like. Let's actually stick these two together, see the thickness of the bushings, and then maybe slide underneath the car here and see if they fit up in there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, so give me a second. All right, I'm kicking it underneath the car so we can see if these bushings fit, because I mean, they're much larger than what came out of there. So let me see if I could get the gimbal to adjust upwards a tick. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so we got some brake lines in the way, but let me move those out of the way. Stick that up in there. Boom, that is gonna fit.
Song. When I started balling, I was young. You gon' think about me when I'm gone. I need that money like the ring I never won. I want. I got you in my space. I won't let go of you. Got you shackled in my embrace. I'm latching on to you. All you have to do is bitch, I'm sauce and I do this often. Don't do no talking, my options right when.
All right, we might be coming to an end for Sunday afternoon. We got most everything cleaned up. We got the bottom of the smart car looks naked almost. So no oil pan, no Didion tube. Right? I think that we're good to go to do the bushing. I showed you that it fits earlier. We're just gonna have to knock that out of there, melt it out of there, push it out of there somehow. Got the whole Didion tube clean, so I got my perches nice and clean, and then I got all the body parts clean. I'll sneak through here and take a look. Whoa! So all the body parts are clean and stacked back up, so that's going to make everything nice to work on when we're putting it all back together, or when I'm putting it back together and you're watching, if you are still watching. So if you're still along for the ride, I appreciate it. And like I said, I think this will be the end for today, and then we'll tackle getting that bushing out of the Didion tube next, and then from there I think it's just putting things back together and getting bushings pounded into where they're supposed to be. So I appreciate it. Take care, guys. Have a good one.